Okay, this is going to show you how to create a multi-camera sequence in Premiere. So here I have my Premiere open. Make sure you're in the editing workspace, and I'm going to import my 3 files. So this is footage from the Cutting Edge fashion show from last year. And the reason you want to do a multi-camera shoot is because maybe you're capturing an event that only happens once and you want to capture it from multiple angles. So that's a reason why we would do multi-camera editing. Some other reasons could be a musical performance that you want to cover from different angles, talk show formats if you're doing this in a non-live environment and you want to edit. So you would do multiple cameras in talk shows and then switch between them. Also, maybe for visual or special effects, something that happens one time and you have to get it right because you don't have the resources or the money or the time to do it again. You want to make sure that you cover it from different angles. So those are just a few reasons why you would film something with more than one camera. All right, so we have our clips imported. These are all done in a Panasonic camera, the 4K cameras. So we have a floor shot. We have a camera that's giving us the medium shot from the balcony. And then we have a wide shot also from the balcony. So ideally, when you're doing a multi-camera shoot, you would have a starting point. Remember when we were in the studio recording Alejandra and Jacob, somebody would do the clapper slate, and that was our time marker. Well, for this, I think we tried doing somebody coming up on stage and actually clapping their hands as a sync point, but there was just so many people there that we just couldn't get it correctly. Not all cameras captured it. So we're going to just look for a good place that we can start the sync and work our way from that. So let's load up one of these clips in, and just because I'm familiar with the footage, I'm going to scroll past all of this and really want you to start working with only the fashion show footage. I don't really want to see anything before that or anything after that. Let's just start the show, start the video when it's dark and the first person comes up. All right, so let's determine a sync point. Let me just play this back.
Garment finishing right here in San Antonio. The next alumni is Angelica Alcon, who might remember her from last year's 2018 graduate, and winner of 2018
Hitting the letter L will allow us to fast forward a bit. So just hitting the letter L on the keyboard.
And the present is represented by 4 classes: knitwear, apparel-free, service design, and dripping. And the future, depicted by 3 designers from the senior collection and the product development teams who have concept boards to get to play the HD for writer and price level. So, number 2, please that. In 2019, again, yes, that's
Okay, looks like that's where they're starting. Oh, that's a nice cue. So maybe we can sync everything according to that light. So I'm just going to use my arrow key back, and yeah, maybe at that very first frame is where we'll mark our endpoint. So I'm hitting the letter I on my keyboard, and that is set. So now we want to find the exact frame on the other 2 clips. I'm going to load up the medium shot and kind of scroll through this. Not that much. Okay, if I hit the letter J, I'm going to rewind. And there it is. So I'm going to just go frame by frame. Maybe right there is where we first see it. So that'll be my endpoint for the medium shot camera. Then let's go to the wide shot and scroll through all of this. So that's the very first frame. So I'm going to hit the I to mark my in point. And that's all I need to do. I'm going to tell Premiere that I want all of these clips synced to that one mark in point. Okay, the next thing we want to do is we want to select our footage here and create a multi-camera source sequence. So it matters in how you select them. The very first clip that you select should be where your audio lives. So I know that on our medium shot camera, we had an audio output from the house audio going straight into that camera. So the audio is best on this clip. So I'm going to select that clip first. And then camera 2 I'll use the floor camera, and then camera 3 will be my wide shot. All right, from here I am going to right click and come down to create multi-camera source sequence. And I can just leave the name of the clip the same, cutting edge, multi-clip. It's asking where you want to sync your points. So you can sync them in a different number of ways. We did it right now through the in points. So for every in point that we set on the clip, that's where we want to sync it. But you can also choose out points if you want to sync it by the out. You can have time code sync as well. You can also have an audio sync. With this, it's really good if you have 3 different cameras and they are all picking up pretty good audio. You can select audio, and then Premiere will find the sync point automatically for you because it'll analyze the audio waveforms and determine where each of those clips sync up. I'm not going to choose that. For us right now, it's better to choose the in points. Then down here, I want to tell it that I want to use the audio from camera 1. You only have 3 options here. So you have camera 1, you can use all cameras, or you can switch audio as you're doing the edit. We selected the medium shot camera as a first clip. So that's automatically linked to camera 1 in Premiere. So I'm going to just leave that at camera 1. And here I'm going to select stereo because here I do want it to be in stereo. That one audio source should be on left and right channels. And I'm just going to say use track names for the camera names. Or you can use clip names. Probably for this, it's better because I have them labeled when we imported them. I'm just going to say use clip names. Okay, so we created a clip here, and it's a multi-clip of embedding all of the other video clips. We're going to take this multi-clip and put it into a sequence. So let's right-click on it and select New Sequence from Clip. All right, and it's basically just camera 2 right now. I'm going to lower the audio here. So camera 2 is playing, and which is okay for right now. I'm just going to increase my track size. Good. All right, so we need to do a couple of things here before we get started. First of all, we need to come up to our program monitor and change the settings. Using this wrench icon, click on that, and my screen is cutting off here, but we are going to select multi-camera view. All right, so Premiere loads up all our different camera angles and then our program. So essentially we don't need this source monitor anymore. I can make that a little bit bigger so I can see my 3 cameras. Incidentally, you can load as many cameras as you need to, as many as your computer will support. If you have a fast enough computer, you can load up 6 or 7 cameras in here and switch between all the angles. All right, so now I'm just going to kind of navigate, and the way this will work is I'll hit play down here in the sequence, but I'm going to be looking up here at my 3 cameras. And I can do this a couple of different ways. I can select the number 1 the number 2 or the number 3 on my keyboard, and they'll correspond to these camera angles. So this is camera 1, camera 2, and camera 3. Or I can simply come up here and click on the angle that I want to be live on my sequence. So let's try that. So maybe we start off with this kind of wide shot. And let's see, we can go to our medium shot, camera 1. She's walking down. Stay on that. Maybe go to the wide shot, camera 3, so we don't lose her. And we're losing her there, so I'm going to switch to camera 2. Don't have any other shots over here of her, so I'll leave that camera on. Maybe go to my wide shot. Nice little interaction there. And then maybe go to camera 2. Before we lose her. So just trying to keep the faces in the frame. And here's another interaction. Oh, maybe not. And if you're late and say, oh no, I kind of lost her, but I wasn't paying attention, that's still okay. Go to your next angle and we can fix it later. All right, I'm going to hit stop for now. And when I hit stop, everything in the timeline will now be cut according to how I switched. So now we can play it from the timeline and see our edit. And so maybe you decide that you want to change some of these angles. Maybe this shot here, maybe instead of using the floor camera, we want this to be the balcony camera. So if I select this shot and I want to swap it out with the balcony, all I need to do is click on the balcony shot on this side and it's there. And then this sequence will work just like any other sequence in Premiere. So if you wanted to adjust the clip or edit it, you can do that here. What I like to do is use the rolling edit tool, shortcut letter B. I'm sorry, shortcut letter M, rolling edit. And I can easily roll one edit over the other. So let me increase my zoom here. So if I wanted this shot to end a little quicker, I can simply put my tool there and roll the other shot, oh, of course, over that camera angle. So anytime you're switching, you can always come back and adjust it with the rolling edit tool, or even just straight cuts or replacing a camera angle. So the assignment will be to create a multi-camera sequence or video out of this footage using 3 cameras, and then just create a sequence up until the very last portion where they all walk in together. You'll see it when you're editing, but they'll all come in the stage together. There it is. So I can start editing here, get my wide shot. All right, and I think it edits maybe right before she says wow. So that'll be our ending point. So to end it, I'll come back up here to my selection tool. I'm going to zoom in here, and I can just simply come back, and maybe right here I can cut it using my razor tool, and then selecting that and deleting it, and maybe just add a fade out here. I'm going to use Command D, which is my default, and computer is slow, but it will catch up eventually and add a fade out. So we'll fade out the video, and then we'll add a fade out for the audio. For audio, it's Command Shift D. And we can click on it and adjust the length of the fade out. Let's make this 24 frames. That way they fade out together. And that is multi-camera editing in Premiere.